Here's what happens when English-speaking expats switch from random gigs to a stable, meaningful remote career by learning one communication skill. If you've been teaching English, freelancing, doing admin tasks, or saying yes to whatever gig keeps you afloat for another month, this will feel very familiar. Most expats try to build a remote life by collecting skills, sending applications, and hoping the next role will finally be different. But here's the truth. Everything changes the moment you learn how to guide someone through a clear, honest decision, because that's the skill that remote companies actually pay for. This is the foundation of empathic remote closing. And today, I want to show you how it looks in real life. Because I've been in that season myself. I've tried every remote role I could find, teaching, tutoring, freelancing, jumping from gig to gig to gig, but nothing really ever felt that stable. And the longer it went on, the heavier it became. And it wasn't just about earning money anymore. It was about wanting a career that made sense, something I could grow with. And our students felt the same before joining ECS. They weren't lost, they weren't lacking skills, they were simply using their English in roles that didn't value it, instead of using it inside a structured communication method that companies actually look for. And once they learn that structure, which is what we call empathic remote closing or ERC, everything started to make sense. So here's what it looks like when real people apply the method. Ashley, she spent years hopping from unstable gig to unstable gig, tutoring part-time and trying to find something predictable. Inside the Empath Closing School, she practiced the ERC method daily, listening with presence, reflecting clearly, guiding decisions calmly. And 4 months later, she finished her certification and her confidence stabilized. She received her first remote offer and finally had a career path, not another gig. And then there's Francesco. He tried everything to make remote work, different gigs, different roles, different strategies, but nothing really stuck. Every path that he tried felt temporary, unpredictable, and probably quite draining as well. And then he learned the ERC decision guiding framework. Once he applied it in real conversations, everything shifted. In his first contract, he earned about 5K in commissions. In his next contract, he brought in roughly 6 to 8K within a few weeks. But the money wasn't a real turning point. It was the structure. It was the clarity. It was the breathing room. For the first time in years, he had a remote career he could actually sustain rather than another short-term hustle. So if you're wondering how expats create results like this, it's not hustle, it's not personality, it's not being good at selling. It's one communication method, empathic remote closing. A practical, structured way to guide people through clear decisions, calmly, ethically, with zero pressure. And here's the high-level version. Step 1, listen with presence. This is where trust begins. When someone feels fully heard, the entire energy in the conversation shifts. Step 2, reflect what you hear. You help them hear their own truth clearly, their goals, their fears, their emotional drivers, what they actually want. There's no convincing, there's no pressure, just clarity. Step 3, guide the decision, not persuasion, not tactics, just helping someone understand their own situation so they can choose the right next step. This is the skill that remote companies will pay for because people make better decisions for themselves when they feel understood rather than pushed. And it's not just Ashley or Francesca. We've now trained hundreds of graduates across dozens of countries, people who once relied on gigs, unstable roles, and teaching just to stay afloat and wanted something more stable and more meaningful. They're all from different backgrounds, many different ages, and tons of different starting points. But the results are consistent. They have clearer communication, a calmer presence, stronger interviews, more articulate English, better conversations, and now they have access to hundreds of remote opportunities that finally make sense. And every week we see messages like, I finally feel clear, or I didn't know I could communicate like this. And the best one, this is the first remote path that feels stable. When you learn how to listen, reflect, and guide decisions, your remote career opens up. So now, if you're sitting there thinking, maybe this is the career path I've been missing, I've put everything about this communication skill into a clear, easy to read prospectus, what the skill is, how it works, who it's for, and what it can open up for you. There's no pressure, just clarity. Comment prospectus, and I'll send it to you personally.